Hey, friends, this is Tony with Linda Craft and Team Realtors. Thank you for joining us today. And today I am doing a series called Think Like a Pro. And the idea behind this is to put to advantage some thoughts that folks have who are successful in life and see if those are things that could be incorporated in how you go about your business life. So without further ado, I wanted to welcome our guest today, Jay Izzo, with Coaching Mavericks. Jay, welcome.
Thank you, Tony. It's great to be on your show.
Jay, I appreciate that. And I wanted to start off and ask you something real quick.
Sure.
It's sort of a lead in for our topic. Our topic today is going to be one that you introduced me to, which is the mindset of gratitude, or as I refer to it, gratefulness.
Sure.
But I found something interesting in the bio for you. And I'm going to look away for a second because I want to read it right. And it says, it's true that there are no business problems. There are only personal problems that invade our business. And I thought that was a really good, concise way of thinking about how we go about our daily business. And I wondered if you could share a little bit, why are you in the coaching business? What's a maverick? What's your why in how you get up every day and conduct business?
Well, there's a lot of questions. So let's start with the maverick piece, and maybe everything else will make sense after I do that. First of all, I believe we're all mavericks because we're all gifted with something unique and different. We're all an individual fingerprint. So it makes us maverick. And the word maverick actually is an unbranded cow. When they were doing the old trails of cattle, there was a man whose last name was Maverick, and he did not like to brand his cattle. And so they were unbranded. And I think for all of us, we're all a little unbranded because we're so unique and different. And so part of my why is because I want to bring out those unique gifts that each one of us have, those unique gifts, abilities, passions that we all have. Because Helen Yu, who I just interviewed, she wrote an outstanding book called Ascend Your Startup. She asked to challenge me with a really great question, challenges all of us with. Can you name your business in 3 words? Can you simplify 3 words? And so I really struggled with this, and I did a little, survey. People describe me in 1 word. And when I started putting them into categories, I found my 3 words. And my 3 words are positively inspiring resiliency. And I get up every day wanting to be positive, be inspiring to others, and to help others be resilient and get back up. And I know that I can do that because I've been given gifts to help people do those things. And so every conversation, I don't care if I'm in the grocery store, yesterday I was waiting in a long line because we're about to get snow here. I am going to be positive. I want to inspire people around me. I want them to be resilient. Don't give up on being, don't give up on being positive if that's the case, because it's that important to me. And in terms of my own professional existence, I don't see a lot of difference between my professional life and my personal life. And I guess that's why I really am fond of that quote of there are no business problems, there are only personal problems that invade or infiltrate business, because I am my own business, and I am positive, and I am inspirational, and I am resilient. That is just the person I am based on my background. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of who I am and what my business is.
Yeah, no, it works really well. And I appreciate you explaining that. I want to dial in on 1 word you mentioned, which, goes back to the topic today, which is how a mindset of gratitude is productive for a professional life, but also a personal life. And you had introduced me to the concept a couple of years ago. So not that I was ever not a positive person or grateful for what was going on, but how do you practice, or how did you train your mind to be more positive in its approach using the theory of gratitude or gratefulness?
So let's go back in the story. So there's a story years ago. I don't know how many now, but there is a story where I was in a pretty dark place. And on the outside, people thought I was pretty successful. But the truth is I was far from it. I was depressed. I was, I just kind of lost my way. And I was struggling to figure out what to do. And one day I'm in the gym and I decided I'm going to listen to a book. And so I said, I really need some business sense. So of all things, I listened to a book called Business Secrets from the Bible by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Don't ask me why. It just was the book I chose. So I'm listening to this book, and there comes a point in the section where he says, I'm going to challenge you for 30 days to write down between 5 and 10 things that you're grateful for every morning, first time when you get up. And see what happens with your life. And I thought, you know what, at this point, I have nothing to lose. So I'm going to try it. And so I started writing these 7 things down, 5, 10. I thought 7, I'm reading, Business Secrets from the Bible. Why not write 7, right? It's a holy number. So I write down these 7 things. And it started out being things like, I'm grateful for my cup of coffee. I got a place to live. I have a wife. I got a dog. That's how it started. By the end of 30 days, I was writing things. I'm grateful that I'm better than I am yesterday. I'm grateful that I'm creative. I'm grateful that I can think my way out of problems. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the relationships that provide me so much and how much they love me. It started to change. And then I was like, I don't want to do this just 30 days. I'm going to continue doing this. And I started doing it every day. And I continue to do it. Matter of fact, I have these little gratitude cards, and I have a gratitude jar, and I write down 7 things in these gratitude cards that I am grateful for every day. The beautiful part of that is, regardless of what happens in my day, I can pull any one of those cards out of my gratitude jar and read those 7 things. Do you know what the truth is, Tony? I'm still grateful for them. Regardless of what happens in my day, I can still look at them and go, man, I'm still grateful for those.
Yeah, it's a sense of presence.
Yeah. And then here's what it does. Here's how it starts to change things. Then you start getting honest with yourself, and you start realizing that gratitude starts to take away your arrogance, and you all of a sudden you start recognizing your own humility, that, gosh, I've got so much. That, and regardless of where you're in life, you've got so much. And then there comes this transition where you go, I started my day with gratitude. My attitude started to alter, and I started becoming even more positive and more positive and more positive. And then I started to realize, I've had this power all along. I've had this power to choose to be positive and choose my attitude all along. Gratitude got me started, but then I started realizing I've got this power that says, regardless of what's going on in my life, I choose how I respond to it. And then somebody said something. It was one of the Special Operation Forces guys that I interviewed, said something to me once. He said, you know what? We're 100% responsible for what we say, 100% responsible for what we do, and we're 100% responsible for how we respond. And that really hit me, because, my wife can say something to me, and maybe it's not very nice, but you know what? It's still my responsibility how I choose to respond to it. But regardless of what happens in my business life, I still have a 100% responsibility of how I choose to respond to that.
Yeah, I love that. I love you put yourself back in power. You control your reaction and what you do with information.
Right. So when you think about the business problem, right? Let's say you go, oh, my team's not very good at follow-up, right? Right. Well, I could be mad at my team, or I could choose another response to encourage something different. But the truth of the matter is, when you have a person on your team who, say, is not very good at follow-up, right? Follow-up with clients. The truth of the matter is, it's not a business problem. It's that person's personal problem, because there's something that's deficient there that they aren't following up. And because it's not just that they're not following up in business, they're not following up in other things in their own personal life. If you clean that up, right, then what happens is, oh my gosh, they can follow up, right? So we have to, that's where that all comes from. So that's why the gratitude thing starts changing the attitude thing, which infiltrates my business. Now, right now, your business is, if you have a great attitude and you are inspiring, like I am, and I believe in resiliency, just getting up, no matter what you do, get up. Well, that's in my business, right? Because I have to encourage people to be positive. I have to encourage people, you know what? I can't motivate you, but I can inspire you, right? To be excited about something and maybe take action. And then, get to encourage you to get back up. Today's a new day.
Yeah, let me interject for a second, because you said something, gratitude equal to change in attitude. And I want to throw a zinger out at you, maybe. So in a competitive culture, if you grew up in sports, and I know you have a sports background and you also have a teaching background and an author and things, but when you think about life and competition, right, it's like, what can I do differently? How can I do this? I needed to run faster, or I needed to shoot better, or I needed to lift more weight. And I'm wondering, when you shift and adopt the mindset of gratitude, your attitude changes. So does your perspective become more us oriented versus me oriented? And are you more outward versus inward? What I mean by that is, do you cast to the folks that you come into contact with a sense of inclusion of, what can I do to help you, versus, oh, I need to make these many more calls, or I need to make this much more revenue? How does that sit with you?
So it starts with what you know you can do. Right. So like, I'm going to use I played football in high school and college and a little after. And I had to know what I could do really, really well in order to fit in the team. So I was a defensive nose guard, defensive tackle. And when I played in the middle as a nose guard, I knew that I was not the fastest guy in the world. I also knew I probably wasn't going to be as strong as I was. I could not take on 200-300-pound linemen and beat them, every play. But you know what I could do really well is I could hold my ground and take them down with me so that somebody else could make the tackle. And when you know what you do well in your team, and you understand that this is my strength, and you play to that strength and understand how it fits in with the team. So for instance, I understood I could create this great pile that the running back couldn't run over, but that the linebacker could run around and didn't have to worry about getting hit by an offensive guard. That's when you know that you're part of the team. Now, what I did on film doesn't look like much because I didn't make the tackle, but you know what? I did my job. And I think when you move that into the business part, you have to know what your strengths are, and you have to know what your weaknesses are. And then what you have to do is you try to play as hard as you can to your strengths, and then you have to bring other people in to help you with your weaknesses. Now, that takes a lot of humility, because you have to be honest enough and vulnerable enough to say, I need help and I can't do this. You're right. You can't, but I can do this really, really well. Right. So let's take a sales situation, because I work with a lot of salespeople. So, right, I am really good at closing the sale, but I'm really horrible at prospecting. Well, you know what? Great. Then there's a problem here, because if you're not prospecting, you're probably not closing. So, but you need help prospecting. So you need to be humble enough and vulnerable enough to say, I need you to help me do that. Now, whether that's accountability, whether you need to hire a virtual assistant to help you do that, whether it's I need to take a class in time management, whatever that may be, right? You have to know yourself well enough in order for you to be able to be a full participant in the team so that you can do your job.
And do you think having a sense, and it's a leading question for you because I believe this. I think that having a sense of gratitude for what is positive in your life and writing it down, which makes it real, or verbalizing, which makes it real, reinforces your own sense of, I wouldn't say value, but your own sense of what your strengths are. Do you find that in any of your coaching clients, like as they begin to adopt a sense of gratefulness or gratitude on a daily basis, that, for lack of better words, their minds expand and they're able to embrace what they do well better? And then that offers or affords people, their clients, their prospects, whatever, more opportunity.
Well, yeah. So there's several things in there that you just said. First of all, when your attitude changes, then what happens is you don't see your failures as failures. You see that when you fail, it's a learning opportunity to grow. So when gratitude starts, you become grateful for your failures. You go, oh, you know what? There's a weakness. Okay, I need to really work on that. I'm grateful that I'm grateful that I didn't succeed here. Right? Because you're no longer looking at that way. You're no longer looking, oh my gosh, I failed. See, I'm a loser. No. I failed. Okay, good. That tells me something I need to work on. Awesome. Because I don't know what I don't know, right? So there's a power in not doing things well, right? There's also power in gratitude. Not only does it alter the way you see things attitude wise, but there's another piece of it. And that is that you start to see that every day is new. I heard somebody this morning on your call this morning that said every day is a new day. So I didn't do well yesterday. Every day is a new day. When you have gratitude, I can tell you that when you wake up, you wake up and you write those 7 things down. Today's a new day. I got a new start. I got a fresh start. I can do something because I'm grateful, A, that I have a new day. I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to make change. And I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to be better than I was yesterday. And I'm grateful that I can be part of a team that still believes in me enough to give me the opportunity to demonstrate that I'm a worthy team member, right? Those are just 4 gratitudes I've just thrown off the top of my head that I know that when I'm in that team situation, I'm grateful for that because it opens up doors to me now. Gratitude has opened up doors that I could not have otherwise seen because otherwise I'll shut down. I'll get depressed without gratitude. Right? Think about your life without gratitude or gratefulness. Right? I think if you pull gratitude and gratefulness out, now what happens is every circumstance becomes magnified. You then start looking for confirmation bias, meaning that we start looking for things that confirm our bias that the world is a horrible place. Rather than with gratitude, I look for everything in the world that provides me with an opportunity for growth.
Let me key in on that. Sorry to interrupt you, because I think for me, and I'll share with the audience, I'm 55. I've had a successful business career and I've had different chapters in that career. And I was never not a positive person, but adopting the mindset of gratitude and gratefulness on a daily basis. And it started out very simple, as you described. I've got a cup of coffee. That's awesome. The lights are on. Like, it does not have to be incredibly expansive, but as you said, it gets there. But what I've noticed in myself over the last couple of years is that my orientation towards positivity is more natural. Think of like a golf swing, right? The more you practice a golf swing, the easier it is. You may or may not be good at golf, who is, right? But did you find that in your own life, which is the more grateful you were and the more you advanced in that daily process of just reminding yourself what is good in your life, your wife, your kids, it's snowing, it's not snowing, that made your mind more aware of and able to notice positivity or positive opportunities?
Let me give you an Izzoism quote. I think it's mine. It may not be, but whatever you practice, you're always going to get better at. So if you want to practice negativity in your life, guess what? You're going to get really good at negativity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to practice gratitude, guess what? You're going to be really good at gratitude. I remember taking golf lessons for a year, and I've not improved all that much, but I know what I do wrong. But the one thing that my golf coach kept talking about was muscle memory. And we have brain muscle memory. And when you keep at something and create the habit, right? And we talk a lot about in today's world about habit formation, because that's a really hot topic. But the truth of the matter is, if you practice it, it's going to change you because it becomes part of you. This is why, people talk about mindset, and the truth of the matter is, it is really powerful, right? It's not hocus pocus. Whatever you choose to think about yourself, you will become. This is, it's something I deal with my clients all the time. I have to tell my clients periodically when they say, I'm so stupid. Why are you doing that to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm so dumb, or, I'm like, no, stop saying that to yourself. Because what I said, you got to stop saying those things to yourself. And people go, well, that sounds silly. No. That's self-talk.
Yeah. Self-talk is key, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really key. I now, when I do something silly, right, I call it silly, because it's human and it's funny. And I like looking and laugh at myself now and go, man, you're just so human. It's hilarious, right? I mean, think about it. Jerry Seinfeld has made a career out of human observations of how funny we can be as humans. He's made a career, as most comedians have. It's not because we're dumb or we're stupid. It's just that we're funny. And we got to take a different look. I interviewed, I think it's Dr. Ria Pell. Anyway, he talked about, think of it this way. The book was called Success Left a Clue. He said, why not think of yourself positively? Because he said, if you're thinking of yourself negatively, that's not doing you any good. So you might as well, you're going to think one way or another. So why not think positively? Why not make that choice? Why do you have to think this way? Right? And I think what happens is we get caught into our own self-victimization, where we go, oh, this is happening, and I can't get out, and I need some help, and somebody's going to help me, and nobody wants to help me, and I lost again. And like, no. Why not think differently? You know what? I'm pretty darn awesome. Mm-hmm. You know what? I really am. I have great gifts. I have great things to offer the world. I have a purpose in this life that is much bigger than I am. And every interaction that I have is an opportunity for me to be able to spread a message of positivity and inspiration and resilience. To me, that's how I think. Right now, it wasn't always that way. I did have to come to a realization, and it started with gratitude.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing it back full circle, because I think the way you described it was, outwardly you appeared successful, but mm-hmm. inwardly you were struggling and not happy. And I think a big component to gratefulness, or having gratitude, is it puts you in a positive mindset. And it's hard to be down on yourself, which we can all do. It's mm-hmm. hard to be frustrated with our professional performance because it could be better. If we're grateful, we have a cup of coffee, right? If we're grateful that our kids give us a kiss, or our dog is happy to see us, whatever it is that you're grateful for, your mind now shifts to a positive acknowledgement of the good things in your life. And it's harder to be negative. So sort of bringing this full circle for the audience, Jay is a fabulous coach. He's a life coach. He's an author. And Jay, if I wanted to find you online, how would I do that?
You could go to jayizzo.com. That's JAYIZSO.com. I'm also on every social media platform, either as Jay. Well, you just look up JAYIZZO. S-O. Tony, I want to just add one thing though, that you just said. The beautiful thing about gratitude is you actually start experiencing your own authenticity. Because then you become who you were always meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you're positive. I think that's really important because, and bringing it back full circle, Mavericks are authentic. You know, what I try to do is I try to bring out who your real authenticity is, right? So you can go to coachingmavericks.com if you want to, but I mean, that's really what gratitude does, is it makes you the authentic person that you were always meant to be. It starts you on that trail and gets you there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think that is the way to compartmentalize it all. I mean, life is complex. We've got a few minutes to talk about things, and I am grateful for you being willing to share your thoughts. I'm also grateful for many years ago when you shared the idea with me of, hey, what 5 things in the morning are you happy about? And thankful that you have. And I had never thought about that, because I woke up every morning. It's like, I got to go. I got to do this. I got to do that professionally. I got to slow it down a little bit, folks. And we're gonna highlight a couple things Jay just said, just for reinforcement: authenticity, positivity, believe in yourself, positive self-talk, don't give up. And it all starts with acknowledging on a daily basis what's good in life. And before you go to bed, what was good during the day. Jay, I want to thank you so much for joining our little Think Like a Pro. Hopefully it helps somebody else out there. And we'll do some more series. I'm going to do another one with Jay down the road. He doesn't even know about it yet. Do you have a work-life balance by having your work and your life be the same thing? Jay, thank you so much. You have a great day, and everyone take care.
All right.